Hey guys, what's up? It's Coach Nick here again. Just wanted you guys to get the opportunity to see what it looks like when I step into the ring. So I've got a game for you where I played some pretty good chess, actually some better than good chess. I played a great game of chess, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to play some good chess, okay? Now, that was just the one game. We did not play a set. Who knows, this guy could come back around and blow me out of the water the next time we see each other in a game. Who knows? That is just the game of chess, but without further ado, let's get right into it, okay? All right, so getting right into it, we see that we've got the coach himself playing the white pieces, and of course, obviously, since they're not one of my students, they must be a government spy with the black pieces. So, e4, e5, d4, d takes e4, bishop to c4. This is basically all past my knowledge of the opening now at this point. Actually, what the engine calls for instead of bishop to c4 is actually going to be knight c3. Go ahead and get some development there and target this pawn, okay? So that's not what I played. I immediately make just a little bit of an inaccuracy. It's a fair move, excellent move, I still believe, but not quite as strong as knight to e3. Bishop to e6, just going to take, and takes. Not really sure why. That's really not the greatest thing. You know, now their structure is doubled. They have double pawns here. We know, well, actually they have triple pawns here. We know that's bad. We know that's not good. We know that's not good. That's anti-principle, right? Knight to c3, I find it. e5. So this is my opponent's first real mistake of the game, and that's when they push their pawn, right? So takes. I missed the top engine move here, which is going to be queen to h5 check. Instead of that, instead of that, get hungry for that pawn. I wanted that pawn, and I thought since my knight was defending the queen, that was just all right. Okay, so takes, knight to c6, targeting that pawn, and then I develop my knight to c3, targeting the other pawn there of the opponent's. Then takes. Knight to f6, challenging the knight. Of course, I'm going to take. Why not? I just felt like that was definitely an alright thing to do. Then takes, kind of. So, black has fixed their structure over time. That is something to commemorate them for, definitely 100% of the way. However, the government spy is not one of my students, clearly even more, because they should know not to develop your pawns this way. You should always develop from the flanks, okay? After that, bishop to f4, long castles, not a terrible move, honestly. I'm just going to go ahead and take the knight there. Bishop takes e5, rook to e8, pins the bishop, basically forcefully winning it. I'm going to long castle as well, takes, then knight to f3, I'm going to challenge the rook, rook to e2, then I develop the rook on h to f1, just that way I can defend the pawn there. Bishop c5, pretty good move. Then I find this move, which is the top engine move, knight to d4. It blocks the defense, it blocks the attack of this square that was had by the bishop, and it targets this rook here, okay? And it's also defended by this rook. So my opponent chooses to plunder their rook immediately, and so I just take with the best move here. And this is my great move of the game. It's harder to find because it looks like this rook pinned the knight here, right? But ultimately I can just take, and I do, because then we see this, and then I just do that, and I'm up a rook. Now I have two valuable pieces, or one valuable piece, okay? So, takes the pawn, I just move the rook in, we go to bishop c5, retreating, losing some tempo there, by the way, moving the same piece multiple times, not quite the best idea. So, winning that pawn came with a little bit of a double-edged sword there, right? g4, g5, blocking the progression of the pawn, knight to c3, bishop e7, knight d4, king to d8. Okay, so after I take here, what I'm doing is I'm offering a trade here, right? I want to give up my knight for this bishop so I can take the bishop, okay? So the reason for that being is I know that I'm up in material, right? And I'm offering black a little bit of some compensation by viciously ripping that pawn away from their structure. So that's not the best move for black to do, because I am being a principled player right now and thinking that I can simplify down the board as much as possible. And since I'm up, I'm going to remain up. And when black runs out of counterplay, it's just a matter of time until I win. So they accept the trade, which is, like I said, not the best move. Okay. So then tries to attack. I just push the rook to a pretty good spot. It's going to be defended by that pawn for the remainder of the game. Nothing that can be done to stop that. Push the pawn there, so even if you were to push here, I can take here, or I can just take here, so there's some, pawn doesn't move like that. There's some ideas for even playing there, okay? Pushes the king, kind of just make it a little bit active, I guess is what they're going for there, right? King to d2, c6, king d3, b5, king d4. See, so now we're into the part of the endgame where the kings are getting active. a5, trying to go ahead and get some progression on this side of the board, on the a file. King c5, I'm going to get that pawn no matter what. Going to get the pawn. Marches to b4, king b5, going to get that pawn. Didn't even have to take like that, but I did. Could have taken with the king first. There's a couple different ways that can happen. And then, so a takes b3, king e7, king c4, king e6. c5, king to c5. And this is where black resigns. We see that the eval bar shows mate in 17. What I was just going to do here was just push the king up to about this square, and then march this pawn all the way up the board to a queen, and then just a simple, quick ladder mate. So I played that game really well, okay? I did. 16 best moves, one great move, but I did have that one missed win as well. That's something to keep in mind. I came out of that game with 91.3% accuracy. Call the ball. Hallelujah. That is a great thing to have been played. That is a great game of chess, okay? I'll take that any day of the week. 100% any day of the week. And you should too. If you can get to the point where you can play a game consistently around the 80% and above in accuracy, you're going to be a really good chess player. That's you're on the right track to really getting it. You're getting it. Okay, and my opponent played a really good game as well. They were in the 80s in the percentage of accuracy. That was just a game of bullet. You get 1 minute with a 1 second increment every turn. So, obviously under short time constraints, chess is sloppier. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, happy chess.